Welcome back, YouTubers. I want to do a walk around of my kayak here. It is a Pelican Catch 120. I've had this kayak for about 3 years now, and I've been very happy with it. Completely happy. I could have got a lot of different kayaks when I first went out and got them, but the main reason why I wanted this one was just the fact of how much it was compared to the other ones and how nice of a flat floor this thing has. This has a nice flat floor, and it had one of the best seats I've ever owned on a kayak. And again, this has been one of the best kayaks I've ever owned. I've done a lot of fishing out of it. I take it to the flats a lot to go out there on the flats. I've had a couple issues with it as far as when I first got it. The issues were just, it doesn't track too well. It wants to always move around on you. So I did a couple modifications and made it how I wanted to, and I'll walk you guys through and show you some of the things I've done to this kayak. Number one was when I first got this kayak, it has a very big tank well in the back here. Very big tank well. So your standard crate doesn't really fit. So what I did was I took two crates here, and I put them together, and I made a nice big long crate to fit my cooler and this thing I made. This thing I made right here is a bait bucket. Let me get it out here, guys. Pull the cooler out. This is a bait bucket I made. This bait bucket, I took styrofoam and I broke the styrofoam up, and I took just a regular like Gorilla's tape, and I wrapped it in Gorilla's tape really thick. And what this does, it just gives it a nice little insulating foam. I got a nice little bubbler that goes along with it. And it's a nice little thing to keep in there. I put that in there. And then the other thing I needed the most was a very nice cooler. All the coolers on the market, like your Yetis are nice, but they don't fit in here. And I wanted the nice high performance cooler. So one day I went to Dick's Sporting Goods, and they had these there. These are Stanley Adventure coolers, if I'm right. Really cool little coolers. They have like 3 inches of foam inside, and they're watertight, leak-proof design. And they're like a Yeti, honest to God. But the price on them are very beautiful. The price on this one right here was only, I think, $32 or $34 with tax. And then I have a bigger one if I go out like more fishing throughout the day. This is my bigger one, because that one right there, that smaller one, guys, that one is a I think it's an 8-quart cooler. This is a 16-quart cooler. This thing retails for $60 after tax, and it's the same thing as the other one. I've had ice in this thing up to 3 days. Ice retention when the ice just starts to melt completely. These things are a nice little cooler. I recommend, if you guys ever want to look into getting a nice cooler for your kayak and you don't want to spend a lot of money, these are really decent coolers. But I got those coolers, and as I said, the other issue I had was with this was that the kayak would always want to move around on me. It always wanted to do like 360s on me, and it tracked beautifully, but when I got into a really heavy windstorm, it'd always want to move around. So I made this. This is my own designed rudder. I have it to where it comes through these pad eyes through here, and they come up to just something to keep the line from flopping over on the deck, and it comes with these zigzag cleats to where I could zigzag it on and zigzag it off at any time. I made this special piece right here with a heat gun, formed it to the deck, and I was able to clamp it down on the deck here, and I have it pinned where I can take this off and put it back on. This also can move around, and also was able to put it in a way to where I could have a bungee cord sit on it. This bungee cord will actually, if I'm coming, let's say if I'm coming on a sandbar, guys, sandbar comes up, or a piece of log, it'll actually push it up, it'll come right back down, or else I could pull it up if I want to pull it out of the water completely. This took a lot of different trials to get completely right. I'm still working on it. That's the reason why it hasn't been painted and doesn't look super pretty yet, guys. but I'm working there. I still have to work a little bit on the rudder here. The rudder is just too thin for it to work completely good, but it's getting there. It's completely getting there. But I can't wait to get that completely done and show you guys what the finished product is. I need to get time to work on it. Now I also added one of these clothesline hanger. This clothesline hanger goes to my anchor, and it just keeps the line wrapped up nice and tight to where I don't have to worry about line management on it. Then I have my fishing rods that go right here. I don't really use the flush mounts too much. I usually like using the crate mounts because it's just so much easier. The tackle box always sits behind me. Sits behind me there, and I put a rail blaze mount on this. Reason why I went with the rail blaze mount is because I got these for free actually one time with the mount and the rod holder. So it wasn't a no-brainer. I have that, and I also have a drink holder that goes there. So if I ever want to put my Yeti cup, I can just put it there, and it holds it perfectly. I don't have any problems with that. But this kayak has been my favorite kayak and the best kayak I've owned. As I said, I've had it for 3 years. I've never complained about it, only besides it wanting to move around all the time. I put a Yak Attack anchor trolley on this, a full Yak Attack anchor trolley. I made it my own because you're supposed to do it in a way to where you have the pad eyes up here, but I just left it like this. And again, I didn't really do too much to this kayak besides that rudder deal. The rudder was the most different thing I've ever done on any of my kayaks. I talked to a guy that knew about these kayak, and I tried to see if I can get a real rudder put on this kayak, but the real rudder is, he told me you would not like the position of that the rudder would sit on this thing. The rudder wouldn't work too well and the cables would bunch up all the time, but that's the reason why I made it like that. I've actually shown a bunch of people how how I made it, and they were actually pretty impressed at how I made this. Again, this is just all made out of PVC. It's a pretty simple design, and I'm just happy how everything came out. There's a couple things I still want to do here, but I don't know. I might just leave the kayak like this because the other things I want to do to the kayak, it's almost to the point that I can just go out and get a new kayak. But believe it or not, this whole kayak cost me brand spanking new from West Marine one time only $600. It was about the same price as what I had before this, because what I had before this was a Pompano 120, which was the same thing as a Perception, Pescador Perception, same thing. I love that one, but it didn't suit my needs because I wanted something that I could stand up on it, and that was the biggest selling point for this kayak, for where I could stand up on it. But yeah, I would totally recommend this to any of my friends. I wish I can get the new version of this, which the new version has the actual pedal drive right in here. The pedal drive is, from what I've always heard from people, is like the coolest thing to have on the kayak. But I don't know. I might upgrade at the first of the year here soon. I'm not too sure yet. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys off my kayak and see what you guys think of all